U.S. President Donald Trump recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would do the same over Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank. It's a movement gaining support among some Jewish groups and even some Christians. We talked with Anthony Abma of Return, O Israel, an organization whose goal is to mobilize Christian support for full Jewish sovereignty in Israel. Well, Anthony, great to have you here on Jerusalem Dateline. Welcome. Sovereignty has been an issue in the news lately. President Trump recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. The U.S. Ambassador David Friedman talked about annexing Jewish communities in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. Tell us, why is sovereignty such a hot topic right now?
Jewish sovereignty is connected to Jewish restoration. And so we've seen Israel come back, the diaspora. They've been a nation declared in 1948, but we've had this 71-year hiatus. It's a time and a season that we see God is making a move, and people are recognizing it, and I really think that this is what we've all been waiting for, Jew and Christian alike, because it's going to lead to redemption.
So when you talk about sovereignty, you want Jewish control over the biblical heartland of Israel. We're talking about Judea and Samaria.
Sovereignty means all of Israel, Eretz Israel, and that's what God promised to the people of Israel. And even though it's a bit bigger, but at least now the Golan to the Red Sea, from the Jordan to the Mediterranean. And two, we must remember that because of Torah, because of God's word to the Jewish people, they are a people that respect others, indigenous people in their nation. However, the problem has been that when you have some neighbors, as it were, that's in your territory that don't want to respect you, that's where the tension rises. But I've even spoken with Arab people that recognize that they will have a better life under Israeli full sovereignty than they would in some of the other Middle East Arab countries.
Why do you think Christians should be supporting Israeli and Jewish sovereignty?
Well, Chris, this is a subject that has been part of eschatology for Christians for centuries, millennia. We can see where the attempts of forcing Jewish conversion has resulted in a lot of contention, a lot of misunderstandings. And yet, at the same token, we also recognize that if we have a Judeo-Christian foundation in the Torah, in the Bible, that speaks unequivocally of God's irrevocable promises and covenants to Israel, we have an interest in that. Like Corrie ten Boom said, if you're going to be a Christian, you have to love Israel. I believe that we as Christians, we could mature, we could show some patience, some love, and say, this is what's before us. This is an irrevocable, undeniable miracle that happened in 1948 and even before and on the way through, and here we are, and we have an opportunity to actually lay down some of our differences, and let's let God fulfill his plan of redemption, and let us support the battle that's going on in Israel right now for Jewish sovereignty. Because I think you might realize too that some of the contention in Israel for sovereignty is between Jew and Jew.
Tell us what kind of reaction you've had from Christians and Jews, and what's the bottom line going forward?
Well, it's a bit mixed, but overall, when Jews find out that there's actually Christians that love Israel to the point that they are willing to help them and support them, it's very, very favorable. And the more and more Christians I talk to, they're beginning to realize that, yeah, you know what? That's got a truth ring to it. I want to know more about it. And so that's why we're endeavoring to do what we can to help Christians understand sovereignty through Return, O Israel.
And going forward, what do you see?
I see biblical promises being fulfilled. I see redemption on the horizon. I see a recognition that Israel has the right to be a sovereign state, biblically, like God promised to them, like every other nation in the world has got a right to sovereign territory.
Well, Anthony, thanks for joining us and sharing this unique and very timely perspective.